If you're watching this right now, most likely you're a B2B SaaS founder trying to figure out how to get more sales in your niche. And there are some principles that work regardless whether you're working in agro-tech, space tech, or have some digital marketing solution. I've helped startups get more sales in over 100 different markets. And in this video, I'll share some of the key strategies that I follow when doing this. The first thing you want to have in place is a message validation system. Why? Because if you don't have enough sales, this means you have not dialed in the understanding of your messaging as much as you need to. There are three things which can be preventing you from hitting the sales milestone at any point of time. This could be lack of testing, lack of volume, and wrong prioritization. That's why when you approach designing your lead flow, you want to look at those three. You start with placing a message validation system. Why? Because you want to find the message that's going to be converting best on a particular audience through a particular channel. That's why you want to be setting up infrastructure. Usually in SaaS camp, we do in 3 different channels. For instance, for majority of B2B SaaS startups I worked with, we would do LinkedIn outbound, cold email, and LinkedIn content. Why? Because they complement each other nicely. And if you look at most B2B SaaS startups, their buyers can be found in this niche, in these channels, and reach through them successfully. So, however, initially you just need to ask yourself which channel makes the most sense for you and where are your ideal buyers present. Because I've made nearly every single mistake possible out there with going for 10 channels at once and spending years going in the wrong direction. And thanks God, after years of iteration, I now found that for myself, LinkedIn ads with a combination of YouTube and cold email are working best. And now that's where I'm putting most of my effort. And if someone at the start of my journey would just tell me, Denis, do that and forget some TikToks and other crazy shit you've been doing, this would be priceless advice. So you want to find a combination of a buyer persona, which you would be reaching through a certain channel, and reaching them through a certain message. You need these 3 components together to start making money repeatedly. Once you set up the infrastructure, then you start testing different copy of messaging. Usually with startups we do 3 angles. One would be free value hook, the other one would be case study hook, the other one would be authority hook. And you can watch my other video about cold email where I've broken it down in more detail, but basically you can test multiple variations of the copy. Usually we do 3, so that you know which messaging converts best inside this channel. And at the same time, you want to also be testing 3 different buyer personas. And there is a reason behind it, because recently I had the startup join the program and they are growing an Amazon ads solution. So they were and have been only targeting owners of e-com stores, the founders, and I advised them that, guys, let's look into media buyers and into CMOs as well, because they would be understanding the specifics of your solution better. So it makes sense to target them as well for companies that are beyond 50 people employee count. And that's why, I mean, if you don't want to spend years going for the wrong channels and mess up the message validation system, you can just book a call with me at saascamp.com and I'll take a look at your situation and advise you how to approach it in your case. So you have this message validation system. You are sending out messages and doing 3 different channels. In different channels, you're also doing 3 buyer personas. This way, after you get in front of 1,000 decision makers in each of those, you'd be able to tell which one is performing better. And then what you need to do is double down on that, because then as you have product market fit, the next thing you want to have is the sure shot formula. Let me explain. If you look at any startup that has successfully scaled to 1 million to 3 million ARR, it would be very hard for you to find one which has done it without following a predictable revenue channel. Yes, sure, some of them get away by just landing a couple enterprise deals in the existing network, and if you're lucky, maybe this has been your path as well. But at any moment, once eventually every startup founder comes to the case that they need to be growing predictably, and they cannot just have 1 month grow by 2 customers, another one by 22, and then back to 3. So sure shot formula is the formula in which you can see, okay, how many inputs you need to make to generate a certain amount of sales. And after we break it down with startups, it just gives so much peace of mind, because especially like even for myself, I've been doing like Twitter, LinkedIn outbound, LinkedIn content, YouTube organic, paid YouTube, then SEO, backlinks with SEO, a bit of programmatic SEO. What else? TikTok at one point of time, and I think I will, and communities, Reddit, and a bunch of other channels. And imagine if I put all this effort into just going through and put it into the channel that made sense for me from the start. And usually I would identify it from a proper market research, and that's why we want to look at, okay, what are the competitors also doing in your space and which channels are they using. It's not that I'm suggesting to be a copycat, but when it comes down to channels, I wish I looked into different things sooner to realize that, look, it's not that I can, in my case, build like a 10 million a month coaching business from Reddit community. To sum it up, right, you need to have a sure shot formula where you can control and predict the number of inputs you're making to generate certain amount of sales. Then the rest is becoming much more simple, because then you just need to execute on that and place more people in place in your sales team. So because unless you know how many inputs you need to make at certain amount of time, you don't know when exactly you need to start hiring for an SDR, when you put a second closer, when you put support managers, stuff like that. So that's why you need to have at least one channel where you have a sure shot formula that you can follow. And if you'd like some help with building all this out, just visit SaaS Camp and we'll sort it. And appreciate you watching this video, and talk soon.